I'm Primal Piggy. Thank you for joining me for another BDSM United podcast. Today, let's talk about this thing called a kink checklist. A kink checklist is usually suitable for scene play and for very new or short term relationships. For a longer term relationship that involves a relationship dynamic or a power exchange, it's a good idea that all the persons involved know each other on a more intimate basis. But if you need to use a kink checklist, it is definitely advised. And here are some medical and health questions to help you in this negotiating time. They're taken from a slave training manual, but they equally apply to all dynamics and really to both sides of the slash. You'll want to answer the following questions in detail and be scrupulously honest. A positive answer to any of these questions really doesn't disqualify someone for playing in a scene. Oftentimes, it means that sometimes we have to make accommodations or modifications. And in fact, those who have weathered adversity are often stronger and enjoy greater self knowledge than their more fortunate peers, making them especially well prepared for scenes. It's vital in any case that the top or the dominant have this information to help you maintain your personal safety. If you're working without a top, consider the implications of your answers. Um, would a lifestyle change or professional assistance make it easier for you to serve in a relationship? Do you have any allergies? Do you have any dietary restrictions? Are you vegetarian or vegan? It may not seem like these are things that, now, these aren't typically found on a kink checklist, but it wouldn't seem like these types of things would be necessary to know. But what if you're doing any kind of food play? What if you are uh, doing a scene that simulates punishments and they put hot sauce on your tongue, but you're allergic to vinegar or tomatoes, for instance? What if, with allergies, what if you're allergic to aloe and they put a lotion on you after an impact scene or after wax play that contains something that you're allergic to? Do you have any chronic illnesses or injuries that trouble you? And what sort of treatment do you use? Do you wear eyeglasses or contact lenses? Perhaps a hearing aid? If you were to, if any of these were to come off during a scene, would it disorient you? Would you not be able to hear the instructions or see a hand signal in order to, do the scene safely? Do you use any drugs, including alcohol or tobacco? Anything recreationally, and what and how often? Are you currently struggling with an addiction? These things are important. You can still maintain a level of privacy depending on how you're playing with others, but oftentimes, if you are struggling with like trying to stop smoking, it wouldn't be good to engage in cigar play, for instance, because someone would be smoking in front of you and possibly putting the ashes in your mouth or your hands, and so it could cause you to, when you're trying to stop smoking, it could cause you to relapse. Are you aware of any body image issues that trouble you? Are you sober, and for how long? Um, are you in recovery from an addiction other than alcohol or drugs? For how long? Did you suffer any abuse in your past? Physical, verbal, psychological, sexual, spiritual, as an adult or as a child? And have you suffered Um, I'm sorry, have you learned to heal from any of these wounds? If you have a history of abuse, can you identify any triggers, any words, sounds, objects, situations that might cause you trauma now? Do you have any history of abusing others? If so, what steps have you taken to change this pattern? So, as you can see, there are things that are not traditionally on kink checklists. Usually, kink checklists just talk about the kinks that you want to do and or have done to you, the types of sensations you're looking to have, the types of sex you're looking to have. But in those short little conversations that you typically have before a scene or within the longer term or longer conversations that you have for a more involved relationship, these are some things that you may want to bring up, you may want to ask, or you may want to answer or have your answers ready, especially if, depending on what type of scene, sorry, that you're going to be having, what types of kinks are involved, and what kinds of things out of this list that you think would be helpful for your potential play partner to know. If you have a trigger for fire, you definitely don't want to do fire play, but um, uh, candles burning in the room may cause anxiety, or doing wax play, you may not think about the candle that's involved, and you may want to switch that out with like a wax warmer that has no flame. It's just something like that. There's uh, these are just ways to help you help those who you're going to be in scenes with. I know that some of these uh, would help me modify as predominantly being a top in a scene. It would help me modify what I would be doing to help limit the things that would cause my bottom griefs. And so, um, a past bad experience with a kink, often knowing something like that will help you do a kink or warm somebody up to a kink uh, that they're willing to do with you. But you can just make the whole process better by knowing the past trauma and accommodating for it, and just kind of running the scene a little differently, a little softer, kind of building up to it. Anyways, I'm Primal Piggy. Thank you for joining me for this BDSM United podcast. You can find all of our resources at www.bdsmunited.com. It was a joy speaking with you today, and I'll talk with you again soon.